My name is Dionisios Nicholas. I served 23 years in the Marine Corps. I'm from Montreal, Quebec. My parents are Greek, and immigrated to America when we were younger and grew up in Los Angeles and enlisted there. I had a scholarship opportunity for gymnastics. I declined it, and where some of my friends went to the Olympics, I went in the Marine Corps. I just wasn't good enough, I thought, you know, and the Marine Corps had done me well. I ended up serving wherever they wanted me to do, and it, you know, it really did me well. I was kind of rough, and the Marine Corps was the best tool for this kid. And I started developing leadership skills and getting an education and teaching others and learning, and it was the best thing in my life. I really miss it. From school, I volunteered to go overseas. No one wanted to go. Everyone thought it was bad. I like challenges, and I said, okay, I'll go. So they sent me the ROC, the Okinawa. I didn't like it at first, but eventually I started excelling at things and doing really good. Deploying Okinawa, Korea, several times. Just doing everything I can to better myself. I had a fracture in my spine, training, and herniated disc. I was with the 3rd Marine Division, 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force. And I didn't really know what it was. It was just like a pain, and you know, Marines, you know, you suck it up. There's about a pride issue or something, but you know, you just push. And eventually it just got bad, and I had to diagnose, and they saw it on the x-ray and everything, and well, I had orders. So I had to report to Yuma in the desert with a fracture and a herniated disc. I reported to my command, as we say in the Marine Corps, broke dick, which you don't want to do. And it was miserable. It was really bad, but you do it. And it wasn't about 6 months until I couldn't handle any more pain. I drove through the desert to Balboa and saw a doctor. I was admitted, had an emergency operation, the first of 2. And I was admitted in the hospital immediately. It wasn't scheduled. I stayed there 5 days. They had some complications. I ended up doing rehabilitation, got to a 6-minute mile running again, back went out. I remember driving through the desert again. 2nd emergency operation, and at that time they had 8 bone fragments, and it was really bad. It stuck into my spinal column, and the doctor had told me the pressure was so bad when he cut the annulus it almost hit him in the face, and the largest fragment was the size of a medium cherry pit, and it was just like it was in July. And why I say that is because I was eating cherries, and I said, whoa, this looks exactly what was in my back. And they had 8 other shards that were like fragments. So I think the damage was cutting into my spine. Got better. I didn't want to get out of the Marine Corps. Okay? I volunteered to go back overseas after I thought it was good enough. Reported to Iwakuni. Did some really good things, nice deployments. I was a platoon commander for anti-terrorism, force protection. Had a great boss, had great Marines. I'm still in touch with them. And I reported from there to Camp Smith. It was E9 billet. It was an E8. Senior enlisted advisor to the SJA, to the commanding general of Mar 4 PAC, and Central Command. It's a dual billet, so we had joint command. And we deployed, doing this and that, and I was training again, running, or something happened. It did something. I don't know really what it was, but I knew. I felt some things in my back again. It's like my waist down going numb. It's like I had no feeling. And eventually I had surgery, disc fusion, a titanium cage about that big, 4 3-inch screws, and well, actually one of them is going through my bone right now. I saw the x-ray. And now I suffer from permanent nerve damage, which affects everything. Everything in your life is affected. My world was dark. sad, very, very dark. And I won't go there again. I had 11 different pharmaceuticals they gave me. I almost died. Very bad. And I decided this is enough. Marines don't do this. So I stopped. And of my own program, I told my doctors, you're not giving me any more drugs. Now I qualify now for a morphine heroin pump. Okay? I will not have it. And the only time I'll take meds is if I have a long flight. But that's it. And all my superiors and my juniors who see me now from before, I'm 48, and their jaws drop. It's because I'm doing what I need to do. My whole life I always give to others. You know, it's the truth, man. If you can't do it from your heart, then don't do it. And I always treat people with respect, and that's how I live. And I was always giving others, 70% to others, 30% to myself. I think any of my Marines could tell you that, or my superiors or juniors. And I decided after clearing up my head, getting over woe is me, feeling sorry and angry. You know, I still have anger issues, I think we all do, okay, but we can deal with that. You get on to recovery. You say, enough, man. This is not right. I can't live my life like this, and I won't. And I was going to counseling and everything, and I realized that in order to get better, you have to admit, you have to be honest with yourself. And if you can't be honest with yourself, then you can't be honest with anybody else. And if you think so, you're fooling yourself. Okay? So you lead by example. And to do that, you got to be honest. Critical shortfalls, shortcomings, those are fine. We all have them. We learn what not to do next time.
So it sounds like you have a lot of inspiration coming from your core. But what drew you? How did you find out about the Mission Continues, and how did you know that was the organization that you needed to put all of your energy into?
Well, that's a good question, because, you know, I came in enlisted. I ended up leaving with a master's degree. I speak 4 languages. I taught martial arts, Marine Corps martial arts program. Got a black belt. I did everything I wanted to do. And I wasn't ready. I was just peaking, you know, and boom, my life cut short. And so through the counseling and everything, I heard about Mission Continues to one of my VA counselors. And Chris Marvin and I talked, and I said, okay, I'll look at the brochure, and I read about it. I read about Eric Greitens' story, and he was with the Marine, and he's Navy, and I have an affinity with that. We're part of the Department of the Navy, and I'm a Marine, and I was recommended for it. Chris and Marvin talked to me and said, hey, well, why don't you do it? And this had gone a year before, and then I thought about it for 8 months because I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. And then finally I woke up and said, I'm ready. And I told my VA counselor, she put me in touch with Chris, and now I'm here. And you know, when I was down, when you're in a hole, and you know, civilians don't really understand, okay? And it's the guy to the left or right, the Marines or any veteran will know. They all understand. Some things are unspoken. He ruled his hand, and I took that hand. And I volunteer at Pearl Harbor. They want to hire me and put me in uniform, but you know, between me and you know, I won't be able to do that. So I think, because the injury. But I will be there to help volunteer. And by doing that, I feel compelled to put my hand out to that next veteran, Marine, Army, Navy, doesn't matter, because I know what they've been through. And it can be pretty dark. And one thing I can tell you unequivocally, that we take care of our own. And that's what we do. They had an award. I had no idea that I got an award from them, and that's not why I do it. I didn't even know you get some, you know, gas money. I did it from the heart because I felt I needed to be back to something bigger than myself. Most of us get injured, or wounded, or disabled. You start feeling bad. You miss that camaraderie. You miss that being part of something. And so when you're down, it's really hard. So I think that's pretty important to let them know that we can help them. And you can move on with your life. And then there's organizations that will give you that support. Not charity, that's support. Because those of us that do this are ones that like challenges. And that's what attracts us to the Mission Continues. High speed, low drag.